Hey everybody, it's CJ Graham, Jason Voorhees. That's right, Friday the 13th, part 6. And you're listening to the Snobs.com.
Hey everybody, it's John Orlando from the PVD Cast. And you can catch my podcast over at pvdcast.com, the online home of yours truly, or through any of the major podcasting platforms. And it's even available as a live broadcast every single Monday night at 9:30 through Redline Radio LLC. Just go over and check out redlineradiolllc.com for more details. And I'll chat at each and every one of you later.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sports Snobs. I'm Pat. He's Kaz, a.k.a. Brian, a.k.a. Mr. Lose 4 to 5 weeks in a row in our weekly NFL picks. I had to throw it in there. I'm on a roll. I'm on an absolute roll. But we'll talk about that later in the week on the pick show. Check us out on thescenesnobs.com.
But you had to start out 10 seconds of the podcast. You had to go there.
Got to make sure you have time for it. You got to make sure you have time. You got to allocate appropriately. Check us out on thescenesnobs.com, on YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. And yes, I'm on a roll. 4 or 5 straight wins. So things are tightening up there, and things have gotten interesting not only for our picks, but also in the NFL playoffs. A weird weekend. I almost feel like it was too much football. Like it was a lot to take in. 3 games each day. It's a lot.
I hated every time they called it Super Wild Card Weekend. I thought it was like a monster truck rally. It's like, no, it's a Wild Card Weekend. Just call it. Like, don't amplify it. Like,
when did that become a thing? That was not a thing last year. Is it because it's super now? Because there's 3? I mean, what are we doing?
It's super because they added one more team.
I don't like it.
No.
I don't like it. We'll have to start a petition. I don't like it. But it's the same thing this week. So now we have another round of.
No, this week will only be 4 games, not 6.
They're not keeping it super divisional round, super semis or whatever they're going to call it.
They might call it super divisionals. I don't know. But it's only 4 games.
Well, yeah, but I guess you got to keep the super rolling now. You've already committed. But anyway, all right. So 4 games.
Well, hold on. It's the NFL. I don't know if we're allowed. We're not licensed. I just have to say this disclaimer. We're not licensed by the NFL. So I don't know if we're allowed to say super whatever, because radio stations and all that get sued by the NFL if they call it the blank bowl. They have to call it the big game or anything like that. So, Pat, I'm going to apologize to the NFL on your behalf for calling it that.
No, what I was calling it super with 2 O's. It's like super. That's what I was going for. Super Wild Card Weekend, not just super. So,
okay.
Appreciate the clarification, but I think we're good.
So the trademark is good then. If you use 2 O's, you're good.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to put it on the Mike. I'll put it on the bottom one. Every time we say it, they'll just throw it in so we know. But it was a lot of football. I can't say I hated it, obviously, because football all day is typically a good thing. But it just felt saturated, especially because not every game was not every game was great. And starting on Saturday, the Bills-Colts game, it was a good game, but it was. You could tell Phillip Rivers played in it. That's all I can say. You could tell Phillip Rivers was on the field.
Really? So you're going to say that it was Phillip? Like they came back?
Yeah. Well, the refs wanted to bring them back into the game.
I will disagree. I will say the refs gave the Bills in that 2-minute drive at the end of the first half. There were 3 reviews. 2 of them, I'm not so sure I agreed with the refs.
Well, that's like the end of the game. It's like they were evening out like their bad calls earlier when the Colts were driving down the field, and it was clearly a fumble. He clearly punched it out. He let him get up, punches the ball out, and they review it, and they're like, "No, let's let this game continue." Like, I don't know what they saw.
I forget. Did they say he was down by contact or he didn't possess it? I forget which way they went.
He just said down by contact because the play stood, and that's how it was ruled. I don't know. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, no, I wasn't a fan of the game, honestly. The Bills were totally underwhelming. I thought that they would I can't say completely dominate because the Colts have a good defense. I thought they'd put up more than points in the 20s. I thought they'd put up maybe mid-30s on the Colts.
Might be a reason why my picks suck this week. Just might be a reason.
Yeah, over 3.
One of them
is very, very, very tough. What was the next game? Midday game. So it was Bills Colts. Game
Seattle
after that,
Rams.
Seattle Rams. That's right. Another, like, in the beginning, another ugly. Seattle's games are so boring. Thank God they're not in the playoffs. They start out so slow. It's just field goal for field goal for field goal. It's just, what happened to Seattle?
I really don't know, but
the Giants broke them. I think that's what happened.
Of course you're going to go that the Giants broke them. No, it's just, I don't know. It went from a very good team to an average team. My DraftKings lineup, I didn't take DK Metcalf, and I'm big on DK Metcalf. I took Tyler Lockett instead because Metcalf has been shut down against the Rams the 2 times they played this year. He blows up for God knows how many points, and Lockett gets me like 3. Mm-hmm. So I really think that when Carson went down, that's when teams found out that if they don't have a running game, you can stop the passing game. And even though Carson came back, he's not 100%. So defenses just figured him out. They figured out Russell Wilson. And I almost said Russell Westbrook, but Russell Wilson. And
he might have played better. They might have won.
Hey, he might have. But yeah, it was not pretty, and they did not finish the season well. I know you picked Pete Carroll as the coach you wanted to play for. Maybe you want to change that now.
I may. I really get your Carson point, but like this offense was explosive. 30 points a week, at least high 20s, even more than that in some weeks. They were leading. They were one of the top teams in offense through a majority of the season. And even without Carson for a couple weeks, because I know I had to pick up his backup in fantasy. DJ Dallas got some reps. The other guy, Travis Homer, got some reps. They both had pretty solid games. They just, Mr. Unlimited.
I hate when you say that. I hate when you Mike, please
very
edit
limited.
that out. Edit that out.
He's now
I'm
Mr.
have
Unlimited.
to get a sledgehammer to Pat's head.
Mr. Unlimited should be Jared Goff now. Not starting because he has a messed up thumb where he had was it broken? I don't know how he comes back if it was. But anyway,
it was broken. He had put pins in it.
Yeah, so what? I don't know how you do that. I mean,
12 days before the game, he had surgery for pins in his thumb.
He could barely throw the ball. But the fact that the Seahawks lost when he played most of the game is just, again, it just makes absolute zero sense. I hope Jamal Adams is happy. I mean, you got to the playoffs. You wouldn't have done that with the Jets. But I don't know. To me, it feels like Seattle they might need to hit a reset button here to some extent. Maybe address the interior line on the offensive and defensive side, because I don't know what other explanation you have. You're going to keep Russell Wilson, obviously. You have a great receiver in DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, obviously
you got
there.
Two.
Yeah, so
you got tight ends. You got everything.
I'm trying to find gaps on the team, and I can't find them. Come on now. Why you got to be so immature? What's the matter? You got, oh, man, I can't take you seriously in that hat. Anyway, the point is, they need to reset.
Look at your hat. You look like a homeless man.
I am.
At least I look like I'm from South Philly, in a Rocky movie.
Hot take: all games should be played on Nickelodeon with touchdown slime cannons and SpongeBob field goal posts. 100% agree. That was the only exciting part of that game on Sunday, so couldn't agree more. The last game of the night, Mr. Brady, my great friend of mine, we text every now and then, and the WTFs. Impressive performance by Mr.
WFTs.
No, WTFs. Did I mess that up? I'm sorry. Mr. Heineke, he had a decent game. He may be a decent backup on the team next year. He may have just made some money in that one game against the Bucks in the wild card round, the Super with 2 O's wild card round. What were your thoughts on Chase Young not doing anything after not calling out Brady? But I mean,
no, all he said was bring on Brady. That's the team they were playing.
But the media, come on.
Right, the media played it up. He just said bring on Brady. He didn't say, oh, I'm going to kill Brady, I'm going to sack him 20 times. He just said, bring on Brady. That's the team he was going to play.
Oh, they're the Tampa Bay Bradys?
Hey.
He could have said bring on the Bucks. He said Brady for a reason. The point is, he didn't get to the quarterback at all. And they double-teamed him a lot. They chipped him a lot. But there was nothing. There was no pressure at all. The Bucks look like a completely different team when they're not playing the Saints.
Yes and no. They've had a couple other bad games. But I agree with you. When they don't play the Saints, but it's the playoffs, and it's Brady in the playoffs. I hate it, but I don't know what's going to happen this week when they do play the Saints.
Yeah, he's got some zip. He's still got some zip on those passes. Like, there was a couple where he threw some quick slants and people doubted his arm strength, and he's slinging it in there. He's getting fired up. I mean, this guy is 42 years. 42 years old or 43. I don't even know at this point. Maybe he's 55. I don't know.
All I know is I heard of this flag football team that has a quarterback, and I heard even that quarterback could perform if they had Godwin and Evans and Gronkowski and Antonio Brown. But if he doesn't have those people, they're 0 whatever they are. But if they have those wide receivers, so it's not just Brady being Brady, he's got a lot of weapons.
For sure. Absolutely. No doubt about that. We'll see how he fares against the Saints this week. I don't think they can be swept, right? 3 games in one. They got outscored something like 80-20, I think, over these 2 games they played them. Last one, obviously, being just an absolute bludgeoning.
So I will say, when I was in high school, there was one team.
What, 1945?
It was a little earlier than that.
Oh, really?
I'll give you 1945.
Depression age. Great Depression.
We played this one team in our conference 2 times. Then we would play them in the county tournament. Then we would play them in the state tournament. And whoever won it seemed like every year somebody would go 2-0 during the regular season, and then going into the county tournament, because that was before the states, my coach would be like, can we beat them a third time? And whoever it was that won the 2-0, it wasn't always us. They won it sometimes. The third game always went to the other team. Thankfully, the state tournament, which in my opinion means more, I don't think we ever lost on them in the state tournament. So that's a good thing.
Humble brag. Love it. Yeah, I can't see them losing again. I just feel like this is, I don't know. The Saints didn't look great either, and we'll get to that. We can jump to the 4:00 game. We'll come back to Ravens Titans because there's really nothing to say about the Saints game. I don't even know who they played. That's how underwhelming that game was.
I mean, you were close. I mean,
yeah, actually was. That's what we'll talk about. Forget about the game. Saints won. Bears suck. They need to reevaluate everything. The problem I have is when did the rule change that you don't have to kick the extra point?
So it happened I want to say it was 2018. It was when the Saints got robbed by that Stephon Diggs touchdown.
Oh, okay.
And they were up now by like 3. I don't know what the exact score was, but there was no time left on the clock. And obviously, no time on the clock. It was a crazy play. It probably should not have happened. The Saints safety should have actually tackled the dude, but he didn't. He was worried about a penalty or whatever it was. They actually had to call players out of the tunnel to make them kick it. So the NFL changed the rule that if it's a last-second touchdown, and the extra point or 2-point conversion cannot change the ending of the game, you don't have to do
it. I honestly never saw the rule. I feel like since then, if this was 2 years ago, I feel like I've seen a couple games, and maybe the refs just didn't fully understand the rule. I've seen a couple games.
You don't have to.
Well, the Bears should have.
Well, maybe they had money on the game.
Yeah. That's the only reason that they would. I'm echoing. What's that all about? I don't know if you heard that. Yeah, that's a heartbreaker for me. I could have been up big right now. Forget about the Bears. Hell of a catch by Jimmy Graham, for what it's worth, which is close to nothing. But.
Well, I did text you, and I said, I swear to God, if the Bears score and get a 2-point conversion, I was quitting the podcast.
And we were so close. I'm sorry to everyone listening. Blame the Bears. That's why he's still here, and I'm not going solo. All right. So a game that was entertaining, the Titans and the Ravens. The Titans, Tennessee Titans. And entertaining, yes. Still underwhelming, though. I think it was kind of boring in the beginning. Titans, again, what the heck? Who are they? They're like the Seahawks. You score 35, 40, 35, and then you just lay an absolute egg in the biggest game of your season against the team you beat last year. You're at home. You actually have fans in the stadium. They said 14,000. I'm pretty sure there was like 20,000. They did not enforce those numbers like they said. They said 14,000. There's no way. But Lamar got his payback. They stomped on the logo. It was, Mike Vrabel had that coming. Mike Vrabel, he just looks like an absolute, probably words I shouldn't say on the podcast, but he just looks so snarky, like he's better than everybody.
Oh wait, we do a PG-13 podcast. I was not aware. I don't
know. You got scolded that one time. Don't you remember, Brian? Come on now. We could bleep. Can we bleep out? I don't know. I don't feel comfortable cursing. That's just me. Sorry.
Just do the black censored box over your. That works.
But I'm kind of glad Mike Vrabel lost. Not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Vrabel. I know you're a big Harbaugh fan, especially the one up in Michigan. I know that's your boy.
He got re-signed. I don't even want to talk about that, but like we were talking about someone's getting fired. And man, they rewarded him. They said, "Who the hell is going to want to come here and coach at Michigan? We have to keep you." That I feel like that's the approach they took because, I mean, if I could show up to my job and basically perform,
dude, I worked with you. I worked with you. Okay,
worked is a loose word.
You're right. On your side of the fence.
Everyone. That's not what we're talking about here. Okay, we're talking about Ravens, Titans, and Lamar looked good. The Ravens defense looked good. They started off slow, but that running game eventually took over, and that's going to be a good game next week. The Ravens are a team to look out for now. I feel they could beat Buffalo.
I hope so, because the dude I work with, he's from Canada.
Oh, does he have tables placed throughout the office and he just jumps through them after lighting them on fire?
No, he's the most like timid person in the world. So like him being a Bills fan, it's like, no, you're not a Bills fan. He's like so prim and proper and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, you can't be a Bills fan just because you're from, I call it Canada, but he's from Buffalo. I'm like, you're not a Bills fan. You don't own it. So like this morning, he sends through one of like our messaging services, like Josh Allen waving, and he's like, "Hi team, glad to see you today." It was Monday actually, and I'm like, you're not a Bill. Like, I couldn't see this guy even drink a beer at a tailgate. That's how I'm like, you can't be a Bills fan if that's what it is. So I need the Bills to lose just so that I don't have to deal with him acting like he's a Bills fan.
How funny would it be if the Browns beat the Chiefs and the Ravens play the Browns? Both two teams who we both were just like, nah, I don't see them going anywhere. I mean, that would be the ultimate AFC championship game right there. No one could have ever called that.
Agreed. And if you would have told me that two teams from the AFC North would be in this round in week 11.
Wait, don't say it. Don't say it. You're going to hurt Chris's feelings.
You know what? Chris is out bowling. He's not even listening. I don't know how you go bowling in COVID. Like, you literally put your fingers inside of a ball, roll it on a lane after somebody else did it, and you're just like, oh, let me lick my fingers and roll the ball again. You're going to get COVID. Oh, and by the way, he had COVID, and I wonder how he got it.
You're blowing his cover. What if his wife didn't know he was going bowling? What if she thought he was going to church or he was going...
First of all, his wife, Allie, knows everywhere that kid goes. She has him on lockdown.
You're really coming down on him here. Really coming down on him.
He deserves it because he was supposed to come on today to defend his Steelers or at least own up to his Steelers. And he's like, sorry, dude, I got bowling. So you know what? That's what I got to say. That's where I'm going.
There's no possible defense of the Steelers. I turned the game on. And then I stepped out of the room for maybe 4 seconds, and I go back in. It's 7-0, and I'm like, "Wait, didn't the Steelers get the ball first? What just happened?" And then you see Pouncey snap the ball further than Jared Goff was throwing it with his broken thumb all the way into the end zone. Like, what's going on? And then I step out again, and I think I took the dogs for a walk and come back, and it's 21-0. I'm like, what? This can't be. This is not real life. I don't know what is, and we just got through talking about who we would, to your point, what coach we'd want to play for. And Mike Tomlin was my first guess, my first choice. Then I went with Pete Carroll, and you went with Mike Tomlin too. Man, that is a bad look. Losing to a team who didn't even have their head coach there.
There's a reason why Pouncey is retiring now.
Yeah, I don't
think it was his decision. I don't think it was his decision. But at the same point in time, Tomlin did not disrespect any of his players in the post-game interview. He just said, we as a team are horrible. He should have said Ben Roethlisberger is horrible. He should have said, if Chris Poitras was not a fan, we might have won. I'm just saying.
He could have played quarterback for them. He probably would have played better.
Oh my goodness.
I've never seen Ben look so.
Chris couldn't quarterback, but he's pretty good as a tight end because he doesn't catch it with his hands. He catches it with his belly, just like softball, football, everything.
That's what it's there for.
Hey, he spent years earning that belly, so use it for something.
Needless to say, the Steelers didn't cover. So another L for you, which led to my beautiful intro of how I slowly came back. I think I was down 16-8, and you're like, no shot, absolutely no shot. And I'm actually winning now. Thanks.
You're tied.
No.
You're tied. You were down 2.
No, you're right. Okay, never mind. I didn't get it. I did not get the. You're right. I counted, but I did get the Alabama pick, so that gave me the extra 1 to tie it up. You're absolutely right. But I will be winning. It's okay. I'm
glad you do auditing and monitoring and transparency and all those type of math things because you're so good at it.
Well, you have to mess up every now and then, or else these companies think they have everything perfect, and then they don't need you. So you have to set up something for you to identify later, even if it was your own mistake. It's a strategy I use. You should try it.
See, I'm just too good. I don't make mistakes. So
there you go. You don't make mistakes. That's why I came back from 8 down.
Mr. Perfection. That's what they called me.
They also call the Alabama football can with this damn thing. For those who are watching, would understand. But Did you watch the Nickelodeon broadcast?
I absolutely did not.
You didn't see Lex Lumpkin? Come on now, the greatest name in sports commentary. What are you doing?
Yeah, no. I absolutely did not.
You'll dress up as Mario for your child's birthday, but you won't watch Lex Lumpkin on Nickelodeon.
Not dress up as Mario for his birthday.
I thought we had that conversation last week before we taped our picks. I'm pretty sure. I think Mike heard it too. I'm pretty sure you said you were going to bring pictures. I don't know. Now you're just fabricating stuff. Anyway, speaking of perfection, the Alabama Crimson Tide absolutely dominated last night. It was just from start to finish.
I don't agree. It was very close for the first 15.
Because Mac Jones fumbled the ball like an idiot. He pulled the Daniel Jones where he I don't know what he was doing with the ball, but he put it behind his back and then let the guy swat it out. He wanted to spot them some points early. So, now I'm freezing on you see this? I'm freezing on the video. What's going on here? Oh, there you are. All right, we did get a picture. Beautiful. Nothing to say, huh? Nothing to say. Oh, you gotta love it. You disagree. The final score was 50. What was it? 50.
I said the first 10 minutes.
They marched right down the field. I mean, there was no resistance at all.
And Ohio State, their first 2-3 times, they did the same.
Nah, they let them hang around for the first quarter. They wanted to make it interesting. Viewership would have plummeted if they were up 28-0. So they said, you know what? We'll do it for ESPN. And but at the end of the day, I mean, that was Devontae Smith. I don't even understand it. There's only so much a receiver can do. How is the man wide open? Just absolutely nobody within 20 yards. It's the one guy that you said coming in, you're like, okay, let's cover that guy. Nope. They said, we're going to put a middle linebacker on him when he runs a seam route.
That was, when I saw that play, I was just like, yeah.
And the guy knew it. He looked and he's like, I'm beat. I got nothing here.
Yeah. He stopped. He was just like, yeah, screw this. Maybe I fake a pulled hammy. I don't know. What do I do?
he gets Devontae Smith gets the offensive MVP award, and he played the first half. That's it, and then he dislocates his finger, and I mean
he had like 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
It's absolutely absurd. And then Najee Harris, three more touchdowns. I don't think. I mean, we saw LSU last year. I mean, LSU was a historically great team. I would have loved to see, if this was possible. Obviously, it's always interesting to compare them. How great would it be to see a Joe Burrow LSU team from last year play the Alabama team from this year? I feel like that's the college championship that you wanted, that you needed, because clearly no other team this year could compete with Alabama.
I hate those comparisons of year over year. Maybe 1 year apart, I'm fine with. But like people saying, oh, the Kobe Lakers versus the Magic Johnson Lakers, who would win? It depends on what the rules are, because 80s basketball was totally different than 2000s basketball. So I hate those comparisons. Just,
Yeah. Speaking of Kobe's Lakers, man, the NBA is just it's not looking good. We were talking about college basketball not finishing the season, or not having a tournament at the end, March Madness. The NBA, I mean, how many games did they cancel in the last? Just over the weekend, they canceled 3 more games recently. I don't know what it brings their total to.
There was a couple tonight that got canceled, I believe.
The 76ers were playing with like 8 players or something like that. Not even. I don't even know. It's not a good look. Absolutely not a good look after you.
I got a phone call from the 76ers. I just haven't had a COVID test in the past 12 days, so they couldn't sign me to a 10-day contract.
Man, that's a shame. That's an absolute shame. Would love to see Mario on the basketball court. But I don't. If they don't bubble up, unless they enforce strict strip club rules,
they have. You didn't hear the new rules that they put out?
What, they put a strip club in each arena, so they quarantine the strippers. And then they're good, but they have to stay there as well. So you can go to the strip club. They only take debit or credit. That way, you're not, putting the cash, because the cash has germs, obviously. So you swipe
where do you swipe it? That's the question.
No, when you enter, you pay, and then you get what you get. It is what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have any choice. You can't distribute your funds how you see fit. It's no other way to say it. Is that not what they're doing?
They made, so I heard some of it before the podcast tonight, where if you're on the road, you can't leave the hotel. Like, you can't even go to a restaurant. If you're an away player, you can't, unless it's a team activity, you can't leave the hotel. And the other rule that was kind of funny was that on the road, you're not allowed to have any family members or friends visit.
Well, wouldn't the leaving the hotel one be obvious? Like, how long are you there for? Like, just order food to your room or go to the restaurant.
We've traveled for work. Room service sucks.
Yeah, but now we're in the NBA.
If I'm making millions of dollars, I don't want the Hyatt's room service.
So order food. You could pay a restaurant. You could pay like a Ruth's Chris to bring you a piping hot steak.
Ruth's Chris is.
I just threw a steakhouse. I just threw a steakhouse out there. The point is, you could pay a restaurant to close down and cater your food from the hotel, and they would do it. So what are we doing? I mean, seriously, they have personal chefs at home, probably. Stay in the damn hotel, play basketball, and then go home, and then do whatever the hell you want to do at home, since you're not under the same rules.
Well, at home they actually have similar rules, but it's not as strict. You're allowed to actually go home, but you can't go out to anywhere. Like, Kyrie Irving is getting killed right now because he went to his sister's birthday party.
Which is ridiculous when you think about it. I saw a headline like Kyrie Irving out partying. Like, it's his sister's birthday. You act like he didn't pull a James Harden. I mean, he's at his sister's birthday, but whatever.
And he only got photographed with his sister and I think his father, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that's the only people he got photographed with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not wearing, if I'm going to a relative's house or hanging out with a relative, I mean, I trust that person to be taking the proper precautions prior to that. So, I mean, am I going to wear a mask the whole time? Probably not. But that's not why everyone's ripping Kyrie. We're ripping Kyrie because he just vanished. He just left one day. He didn't tell Steve Nash. He just says, "No, I'm good. I'm not playing basketball today. I'll text my teammates, but I'm not going to tell the coach. I'll be back, whenever."
So I don't know if I believe that whole narrative. I believe he told Nash, and Nash just said, "Oh, because of nobody knows why Kyrie left. It wasn't for the birthday party. It wasn't. It was for other things." And you don't know if Nash, being a former player, doesn't want to air the dirty laundry. So he just says, "Oh, I'm not sure why he was here." Because any coach that was not aware that a player wasn't showing up to the arena, there would have been different things that happened. If a player doesn't show up to the arena and you're like, "Where the hell is Kyrie?" You would have called the cops. You would have called something to get him there. But at the end of the game, being caught off guard, why wasn't Kyrie here? You know what? I'm not really sure. That's an easier answer because Steve Nash never had an answer as a coach, as somebody from the front office before. He always had an answer as a player. And as a player, you don't throw somebody under the bus. And he's not seasoned enough as a coach to have that answer. So that's what he came up with. That's my thoughts.
I mean, generally, I would agree. But this is during the summer, where he was interviewed, or maybe it was early fall, whatever, a couple months ago. And he was asked about Steve Nash, the coaching situation. He's like, "Well, I don't really see us as having one coach. I feel like we all coach, like me and him and Kevin." Like that right there says to me that you don't really have much respect for whoever the coach is. Maybe it's not a Steve Nash thing. Maybe it's just, I'm Kyrie. This is the NBA in this day and age. LeBron coaches the Lakers. I mean, that's just how it is. I don't believe anything otherwise. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, they're probably coaching the Clippers. I mean, there's no way you could do anything that would slightly hurt an NBA player's feelings or make them look slightly like they did something that was wrong. So generally I would agree, but based on how he talked about coaches earlier in the season, I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if his first texts were to his teammates and then he waited like 24 hours and then reached out to the team. If the team didn't already reach out to him, which they were trying to. I don't know. I feel like it makes it look worse. Like if you're Steve Nash, you would have some better explanation than to look like you're just totally ignorant. You have no idea what's going on.
Agreed. It looks bad. But at the same point in time, what's he supposed to say? "Oh yeah, he told me he's not coming because of political protests."
No, but he could have said, I've spoke to Kyrie. He's dealing with some personal matters. That's it. You could say you spoke to him, because now it just makes it look worse. Makes it look like you have no credibility as a coach, and it makes Kyrie look, which is, I thought it was hard to do, but it makes him look like he's absolutely out of his mind. I don't understand how you can be so gifted, so talented, so skilled, and top 20 player in the NBA, right? I feel like that's fair. And you just have no regard for like the integrity of the game, like showing up and being there with your teammates. I mean, they lost the game. They won the first game, and then they lose because they don't have Kevin Durant either. I mean, this team, I thought they would be in the championship if everything went well, obviously, with Kevin Durant and Kyrie. But if this continues, this is going to be the same. We saw this already. We saw this with the Boston Celtics.
So all I'm going to ask is, if the 12 viewers we have on this, can we start a GoFundMe so Pat can actually get Wi-Fi that doesn't cut out during our filming of this episode?
Why is the Wi-Fi cutting out?
I don't know, because you probably have 1 gigabyte access. We got to get you a GoFundMe so you can actually afford some Wi-Fi over there.
Well, if I got my damn money from my fantasy football championship, I'd be able to pay the bill.
That ain't me. That ain't me.
I don't know. That's not what I hear. That's not what I hear. I heard you didn't pay the commissioner. DSL Pat. Yeah, that's my nickname.
I actually think it's AOL. I'm hearing the modem in the background.
What's wrong? Is it the audio or the video? What's happening?
Both. Everything.
Oh, that's a shame. It's an absolute shame.
Especially with that ugly ass hat and that red ass beard. And you stop, it's like you stop in these awkward photos. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm doing a podcast with a homeless guy.
Carry on. You can do the show by yourself. Carry on.
I don't need to. I'm done for the day. I got everything off my mind for Chris not wanting to show up. And yes, Mike, I am picking on hats.
Yeah, Bruce. Oh my God. Let's go. What is happening? What's happening here? We're spiraling out of control. They're trying to cause a rift. We can't let this happen.
They are trying to break us up. Is that what it is?
It's a shame. It's an absolute shame. What do you say after we record? We go get a drink at the Loop.
They don't have a bar at the Loop. You got to bring your own.
Oh.
They don't even have room service at the Loop. You got to bring your own food and everything.
That completes the picture for me. That completes the picture of the Loop for me.
They got hot tubs. They got jacuzzis. They got jungle rooms. They got all that. But yeah, no.
Maybe Kyrie's at the Loop.
I'm sure their Wi-Fi is worse than your house. So maybe that's why he didn't contact his coach.
He's from the area. I mean, maybe he's familiar. The Loop. Yes, this episode is that what it is? It's called an inn. Is that really what it is?
The Loop Inn, yes, it is.
I didn't think inns existed anymore. I thought it was just motel, hotel. We got actual inns.
What about Holiday Inn? Come on.
Yeah, but it's not an act. It's not an. It's a hotel.
But the Loop Inn is a hotel, just called the Loop Inn. All the rooms are on the inside. It's not like what you're thinking, where all the rooms are outside on the balcony. You go inside, you go up an elevator. Depending on which themed room you pick, depends on which way you go.
Oh my! These are the cage elevators, or you gotta pull the thing shut?
No, they're legit elevators.
Yeah.
It's only 3 floors, 2-3 floors. It's not very big, and you're usually not bringing a lot of luggage when you go there, so you can even take the stairs.
Oh, it looks like a beautiful establishment.
Look at that.
The lights. I love the lights. Wow. Is that a limo outside?
No. Maybe. Depends. If it's prom season, maybe there's a limo.
Oh, I gotta check this place out. Yeah. Oh my God.
Know what? After you and the wife have your child and you want to go out for your first date night, I will spend the $20 and get you and your wonderful wife a room at the Loop.
Wow. Breaking the wallet for that.
$20 will give you about 3 hours. You think that's good?
We'll be sleeping. That'll be fine. You're sick. Absolutely sick.
They do hourly. I'm just saying.
No, I'm good. All right. I think we've said enough tonight. We talked more about the Loop Inn than we talked about the Bears. What does that say? What is that? What are we looking at?
That's one of their themed rooms.
Is that a sink?
It's a champagne glass jacuzzi, I believe.
What?
And is there a golden horse that water comes out into the champagne glass? Oh, wow. They must have remodeled since the last time I was there.
That's got to be a sink. That's not a jacuzzi. I can't say anything further. I really can't. If anybody sees this, I got to play it safe. I got to play it safe here. This is dangerous. This is uncharted territory.
Wait.
What are we doing? What?
You don't want to mention it because you're like, I don't want people to know I was actually there.
Absolutely.
When your wife watches this, she'll be like, how'd you know that was a sink and not a jacuzzi?
Well, they got the little swans here.
What is this? Ooh,
that's beautiful.
That looks like some bondage stuff right over there.
That's the Bruce Arians room.
Oh, look at that. I actually think I may have had a party in that room or two.
It doesn't look terrible.
No, but again, pictures are a lot different than when you get there.
I hope nobody that works at the Loop-In is watching. He might have just brought them some business, so maybe, I don't know.
Is that look in the corner by the mirror? Is that the guy taking the picture?
Oh, that is for sure.
Yes. Hey,
wrap it up. It's been fun.
next week, we'll have a sponsor for once.
$20 going through the sports snobs.
Wow. That's it for our show. Remember, check us out at the Loop-In. Oh, I'm sorry, not the Loop-In. Check us out on the
live. When COVID is over, we're doing a live broadcast from the Loop-In.
Let's do it. I'm totally in. All right. Anyway, scenesnobs.com. Check us out on the YouTube. Check us out on the Spotify. Check us out on the wherever you get your podcast. And eventually it will be brought to you live from the Loop-In. We'll work out the kinks.
Your Wi-Fi is better than Pat's.
Oh, it might be better at the Loop-In.